This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is Dave Nixon, and today I want to talk a little bit about letting go, a little bit about evolving, a little bit about all those bits and pieces. The art of letting go, if I do say so myself, which is really, I talk about letting go a fair bit, especially in relation to like letting go of things that no longer serve you, but also acknowledging the fact that at some point they did, right? It's like old habits that used to work for you are so stubborn they want to be acknowledged before they'll leave, right? As soon as you acknowledge them, it's like the whole idea of like ghosts and spirits, I suppose. I don't know too much about that, but it's like as soon as you acknowledge them, they kind of go away. So yeah, interesting stuff. But what's really interesting in relation to the art of letting go is basically to evolve, right? To develop, especially developmental, right? People talk about development, not understanding that developmental work is mental, developing the mental side of things. So really to evolve that, right, we have to let go of our past, or at least the story we tell ourselves about the past, right? And this is what's really difficult for a lot of people because they identify so strongly with their past. They like it's so, they've made it, embedded that into their identity so much. It's like, I've always been a, underdog. I had that in the podcast once before. I've always been the smallest on the field. That's one that I ran. I was always the smallest on the field, and then I was always the smallest in the gym. And it's like, well, dude, what point you say you want to get stronger and bigger, for example, like you got to stop letting your past be your current reality, because no one's past equals anyone's future. But too often we hold on to things from the past because they feed our identity of how we talk to ourselves today. And so this is, until we sort of let go of that, we are not able to be who we truly are. Because if you made a mistake when you were 12 or 15 or 20 and you're now 30, you're 30-year-old you. You're not the mistake you made when you were 20, right? And a lot of the times, especially type 4s actually, if you look at the Enneagram, if you've done the Enneagram, if not, you should jump on and do it. It costs about $12, takes 40 minutes. Just search Enneagram Raheti, R-H-E-T-I. Type 4s will often get really mistaken as they are their identity, they are their past rather. And this is what's really interesting, is that we have to really be mindful of understanding that we actually aren't our past at all. And we have to recognize what parts of our past are no longer serving who we are today and where we want to be. And on a greater scale, the people around us. Like, are you being the best version that you can to serve the people in your inner circle, right? In the people in your community? Because if you're playing small, you're actually doing a disservice to the people around you. And this is something that's really crucial to understand, is that a lot of people are afraid to break out and to do something. And, that maybe they're afraid of losing people that they think are really close and important to them. And it's like, sure, but we're a movie. We're not a picture. We're continually unraveling as a soul or a spirit as you grow, right? And so if you have people around you that don't want you to do that, right, or not accepting of that, it's probably because they themselves fear it for their own insecurities. But you've got to make a decision whether it's worth playing small for those people's insecurities. And I've met people that have just made that decision. They really have, and they didn't say it like that, but their actions said it. And it's interesting, it's important to be able to make these distinctions and decisions within ourselves, and at least have the power to see it. So really, to evolve, one of the biggest points there is to understand that we need to acknowledge our past, but remember that we are not our past, and our past doesn't make us who we are today, right? It's sort of like, it's a part of the story, but even then, the story is completely subjective based upon your experience of it, right? In the filters that you have, and we all have them. So at some point, it's acknowledging that, letting it go, and moving on to write your next chapter. And the pen is in your hand, right? You don't want to keep rewriting the same fucking chapter. People get sick of that shit. I get sick of that shit. I posted on Facebook yesterday. So my YouTube channel's up and running. There's like 90 odd videos on there. And I was like, hey, actually, fuck it. I'm going to read it to you, what I literally wrote on Facebook yesterday. And so you'll be able to see, it's just at some point earlier this year, I was like, fuck it. I'm so sick of playing small because of my own little insecurities. And so on the 2nd of January, when I wanted to learn how to do a podcast, I sat down, cracked a beer, and Googled, how do I start a podcast? And it was one of the greatest decisions I made. But it was from that decision I decided to turn pro. I decided to stop doing all the rubbish things that I was doing beforehand, because I just got over this idea of, like, at what point was I going to stop this, the sob story of myself, right? Like, at what point was that going to happen? And so it was like, no one's going to come and save me. And no one's going to come and save you. No one's going to be like, wow, you're such a talent. I'm going to rescue you and teach you all the things and give you all of the accolades and all of the exposure. No one's coming to do that shit. That's on you if that's what you want. And so yesterday I posted, for a long time I sat back and not only watched, but also judged certain people for doing what I wanted to do. After a while, not only did this grow old, but I felt pathetic. I decided to get over my sad story and just do the things I wanted to do rather than simply judging those who were doing the things I was too scared to do. So a couple of months ago, I purchased a DSLR camera and some microphone gear. Today, my YouTube channel has 90 videos and 15 subscribers. Now has like 43. Boom, more subscribers. I discuss mindset training lessons in business. It would mean the world to me if you could check out my channel, and if you enjoy it, subscribe. It would even mean even more to me if you would share it with one friend who you think would also enjoy it. As always, much love, peace and pizza, and kick the day in the eggplant. Now, what's really important for me was just recognizing, like, how long am I going to run this pattern before I get sick of my own bullshit? And my own bullshit was the story I told myself about my past. That's basically what it was. And so that was a breakthrough for me, if you want to call it that, right? And one of those things is effectively accepting my situation as it is, not as I wished it should be, or as I wished it was. It was as it was. And that's like, look, I feel like I have the ability to make a bigger impact. I feel like I'm playing small because of my own insecurities. No one's going to come and tell me and put me on a podcast. No one's going to, get a camera there and make that happen. I have to do that. I don't know how to do that. All right, well, you're a fucking student, a rookie now. Let's go learn. And because of that, it allowed me to get out of my own way. Like, no one was stopping me, right? No one was like, nah, man, you're not allowed to do that. Even then, they're not stopping me. It's probably their own insecurities being projected. So, really learning for ourselves that to evolve, we have to really embrace this idea of the art of letting go. Because it's like, I'll give you an example as a river, okay? Because with the whole idea of developmental work and unraveling ourselves, we cannot speed the process up. Like, you aren't able to speed the process up. You can only slow it down. And this is a very important distinction, because it's like a river. You can't speed the river up. You just unblock all the things that are slowing it down, like maybe all the rocks that are in the way and all that sort of stuff. So this is what's really important about ourselves, is that we have to remove all of our rocks so that we can just let it flow the way it's meant to flow, as opposed to trying to speed it up, not removing the blocks. It doesn't make any sense. But let's say, for example, you're floating down your river of consciousness. Let's call it that, right? You're floating down the river and you see this. I've seen people do this. I have done this, right? And you're holding onto this rock and you're like, Dave, how do I get further down the river? And I'm like, you got to let go of the rock. Maybe at some time that rock saved you, so you're holding onto it, and you hold onto it for so long that it's become a part of you. And you're like, this is no, this is a part of me. It's part of my identity. This rock it saved me. It allowed me to be who I am today. It's like, yes, it allowed you to be who you are today, but it will not let you become who you're meant to be tomorrow. You got to let go of the rock, and the river will take you down. So sometimes, for us to really evolve, we have to let go of what no longer serves us. And a lot of the time, it's the stories we tell ourselves about our past. It's really fascinating, but people want freedom, but they don't want to let go of the shit that keeps them a prisoner. Tim, I'm going to finish it there. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you got a lot out of this podcast. If you did enjoy it, it would mean the world to me if you could share it with one of your friends. And yes, I did mention during this, that I have my YouTube channel up and running. You can search Dave Nixon or Mood Prep. It should come up. I would love you to subscribe. It would mean the world to me once again. Otherwise, jump on Facebook, Mood Prep Online, for our Mood Prep group. Until tomorrow, Peace and pizza. Kick today in the dick. Slay the dragon. I'll see you soon.
To be everything at once, be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.